The Galactic Council had spoken. A colossal war fleet, armed with devastating weapons and wrapped in shielding far beyond the capabilities of most known civilizations, was on the move. Its destination, Earth. Admiral Varric stood upon the command bridge of the flagship, gazing into the infinite black beyond the viewport. His mission was absolute: conquer humanity, claim their world, and harvest its resources for Theglery of the Zarnath Empire. He held no reason to question the Council's intelligence, which described humans as primitive, disorderly, and only barely competent at navigating the stars. And yet, unease tugged at him, a whisper in the back-office mind that refused to quiet. "Admiral," his lieutenant's voice broke the silence, drawing him back. "We are entering the Sol system. All squadrons stand ready." Varric answered with a sharp nod. "Open a channel to Earth's leaders. Let us see if they possess enough wisdom to submit." As the fleet assumed formation, a sudden transmission flared across the bridge. The holographic display revealed the face of an aged, battle-worn alien. His scales bore deep scars, and one eye was clouded over with milky blindness. "Identify yourself," Varric barked, his voice sharp. The stranger gave a hollow chuckle. "Once, I commanded the Krikath Armada. Now I am nothing more than a wanderer, a survivor. Tell me your intent." His expression hardened, shadowed by memory. "I have come to warn you, do not strike the humans." Varric sneered, lifting a hand to end the signal, yet something in the old soldier's voice stilled him. "You claim a race scarcely able to sail the stars could challenge the strength of Zarnath." The alien exhaled, his frame heavy with the burden of remembrance. "We believe the same. Our fleets were larger, our weapons superior, but the humans, they fought like beasts, like demons. No strategy, no coordination, only raw, unyielding fury. We leveled their cities, shattered their networks, and every time we thought the war was finished, they clawed their way back from ruin, angrier, sharper, more merciless." Varric arched a brow. "Sounds like a failure of command." The alien's lone good eye hardened. "We rained fire from orbit until continents split apart." Their answer? "They hijacked our comms, broadcasting our own triumphs back at us as mockery. They poisoned our rations, crippled our air supplies, and sent plague-ridden corpses drifting into our hangars. They would not stop. It wasn't a war. It was a waking nightmare." Silence gripped the bridge. Varric's gaze swept his crew, noting unease etched on every face. "What became of your fleet?" The survivor's voice sank, almost lost to memory. "I am the last. They never ceased the hunt. Even in retreat, even in hiding, they found us, tore us apart ship by ship until none remained. They do not let go." A chill traced Ver's spine. "Why warn us then? Why not let us share your fate?" A bitter smile pulled at the alien's scarred mouth. "Perhaps I want the Council to bleed for sending you to die. Or perhaps I simply refuse to let anyone endure what I did. Leave them. Choose another world." Before Varric could answer, the signal cut, leaving the bridge steeped in unease. He straightened, forcing his tone firm. "Dispatch a scouting party. I want eyes on Earth, discreet, fast, thorough." As orders spread, Varro's mind lingered on the haunted face of that commander. Primitive or not, these humans carried a shadow of something far darker. How could such a species drag empires to ruin? He would uncover the truth. 3 stealth cruisers slipped from formation, small, swift, and near invisible to primitive sensors. Admiral Varric observed from the flagship as the trio of cruisers detached and slipped toward Earth, their cloaking fields rippling before dissolving into nothingness. He refused to let dread seep in, though the old commander's warning lingered like ash on his tongue. Focus on the mission. The survivor was likely broken years of defeat birthing delusions of monsters. Many fallen leaders had spun lies of unbeatable foes. "Admiral," his lieutenant reported, "scouts have entered orbit. Surface scans in progress." "Good. Maintain silence." No interference, Varric ordered flatly. The bridge held its breath as they tracked faint flickers of the cruisers. Time crept by uneventfully, and confidence began to return. Perhaps humans truly were the fractured primitives the Council had described. Then, one signature spiked and vanished. Report! Varric snapped. Fingers danced frantically across the console. Cruiser 1 lost. Attempting reconnection. Ice spread through Varro's veins. Launch a probe to its last position. The order had barely left his lips before a second signal blinked out. The final ship twisted from formation, engines flaring. Varric stood rigid as chaos filled the display radio bursts, energy spikes beyond known scales. A single, broken. Transmission clawed through static. Ambushed. Trap, no survivors. Silence followed. His grip whitened on the railing. Cloaks, decades beyond Earth's reach, how had they pierced it? Admiral, the lieutenant stammered. Incoming signals from the surface. Human broadcasts. They're taunting us. Varric's eyes narrowed. Translate. Display. The main screen flickered, revealing a raw but deliberate message. Did you think we wouldn't see you? Did you think we forgot? Welcome back. We've been waiting. It cycled endlessly, spoken in dozens of human tongues, each dripping with venomous certainty. Varric's jaw clenched. Prepare the fleet. Orbital bombardment. We burn them before they move. Orders flew, but then the comm station flared again. The officer paled. Admiral, they're inside our encrypted channels. Impossible. Varric barked. Put it through. The scarred commander returned, his expression heavier than before. You should have listened. They'll never release you. You think you're the hunters? You're already prey. Varric cut the feed, his when he awoke. Pain pulsed through his skull, the acrid stench of burnt circuitry searing his nostrils. The bridge was a graveyard, consoles gutted, wires spitting sparks, officers strewn like shattered dolls. Clutching his side, Varric dragged himself upright beneath the sickly red haze of emergency lights, the backup generator humming faintly, barely keeping death at bay. He stumbled to a console, forcing trembling fingers across its cracked surface. The ship's AI stuttered online, voice fractured, main power offline, weapons disabled, communications compromised. Hull integrity, 63%. Varric's curse hissed between clenched teeth. Fleet status flashed next wrecks, husks, drifting carcasses of once proud warships. A handful flickered with faint life, but they too were broken, dying. How? He whispered. How could primitives do this? The screen wavered. A familiar scarred face appeared, the old commander. Varric's jaw tightened. You didn't listen, the survivor rasped, shaking his head. I tried to warn you, tried to spare you. What have they done? Varric growled, desperation lacing his tone. The commander exhaled, weary and resigned. You underestimated them. That was your first mistake. They never strike head-on. They bleed you with sabotage, with tricks, with shadows. They prey on pride. You gave them time, Admiral, and they used every moment. Varric slammed his fist against the console, fury igniting. You speak as though they're untouchable. They're just humans, fragile, mortal flesh. How can they stand against us? They don't fight like us, the commander said grimly. They don't play by honor or pattern or restraint. They twist the ground beneath you, let you believe you've won. Until the instant they rip victory away. His gaze darkened. You thought you were the predator. But now you see the truth, your prey, broken, helpless. Varric's rage boiled over. Then why you? Why did you live when your fleet fell? The commander's expression hollowed, voice low. Live? That's a generous word. I exist, in exile, forever looking over my shoulder. They let me live to send a message, a reminder of what happens to those who cross them. I thought it was mercy, but now I see it for what it was. A warning to others. A warning you didn't heed. Before Vrak could respond, proximity alarms blared, and his console displayed dozens of small craft emerging from Earth's surface. They were crude, outdated fighters by Zarnath standards, but they moved with terrifying coordination. The remnants of the fleet scrambled to form a defensive line, but their systems were still compromised. As the human fighters closed in, another transmission broke through. A message from Earth itself, broadcasting openly. "We gave you a chance to leave. You didn't listen. Now we'll finish what you started." The human ships didn't fire conventional weapons. Instead, they released swarms of tiny metallic objects, drones. They latched onto crippled Zarnath ships, burrowing into hull plating and slicing through vital systems. Explosions rippled through the remaining fleet as the drones triggered power surges and reactor meltdowns. Varric gripped the console, his mind racing. He had to do something, anything, to salvage the situation. He activated the ship's last operational thruster, trying to steer away from the incoming swarm, but it was futile. The drones found his flagship, tearing into it like a plague of metal insects. The old commander spoke one last time, his face solemn. "They don't fight for conquest or glory. They fight to survive. And when survival is at stake, they have no limits. You should have run when you had the chance." The screen went dark, and Varric felt the ship shudder as the reactor core began to overload. He closed his eyes, the bitter taste of defeat choking him. He had underestimated the most dangerous trait of humanity, not their technology or numbers, but their will to fight to the bitter end. As the flagship erupted into a brilliant, searing light, Earth. "Survivors?" She hesitated. "We picked up a few escape pods from the debris field. Mostly Loking crew, and some wounded officers. Nothing useful yet. They're being held in quarantine, until we figure out how to safely interrogate them." "Good. Last thing we need is an outbreak of alien pathogens. Keep me updated." Marissa gave a nod, then paused, her expression darkening. "Nathan, you know they'll come back, right? Maybe not the same empire, maybe not the same way, but they'll come. We just sent a pretty damn loud message to the galaxy." He rubbed his temples, knowing she was right. "Yeah, but if we didn't make it loud enough, they'd just keep testing us. This way. They know the cost of messing with Earth. We survived their first invasion because they underestimated us. This time, we made sure they never forget." Marissa's eyes softened just a bit. "What about the civilians? The news feeds are already spinning this as a glorious victory, but people are scared. They saw the sky light up with explosions and have no idea what really happened." Cole sighed. "We'll tell them enough to feel safe. No need to go into details about how close we came to losing the whole damn planet. Let them have their victory celebration. They deserve it." Before Marissa could respond, another officer rushed into the command room, looking pale and out of breath. "Sir, incoming transmission from the lunar base." Long-range sensors picked up multiple energy signatures at the edge of the system. It's another fleet, sir. Bigger than the last one." Cole's heart sank, but his face remained stoic. "How long until they're in range?" "About 2 standard days. We're estimating at least twice the firepower of the first wave." Marissa cursed under her breath. They didn't waste time sending reinforcements. Cole set his jaw, forcing himself to think clearly. "Alert all defense stations and mobilize every available squadron. Deploy decoy satellites and get the orbital cannons recharged. Prepare to initiate Protocol Black Sky. We'll make them bleed for every kilometer they gain." Marissa's smirk returned sharper and fiercer this time. Time to show them that Earth doesn't fall twice. As the command center became a flurry of activity, Cole stared at the holographic map, watching the red markers inch closer. He knew the battlehead would be even harder than the last. The enemy had learned from their mistake, and this time they would come prepared. But humanity wasn't just sitting idle either. They had salvaged enough technology from the last invasion to bolster their defenses. They had learned, adapted, and Prepared, and more importantly, they had the will to fight. Cole glanced at the old faded flag hanging at the back-off command room, blue and green against a field of stars. Humanity wasn't just serving anymore. They were fighting back. And this time they would make sure the galaxy understood that Earth was not a prize to be claimed. It was a fortress, unyielding, relentless, and above all, undefeated. The next 48 hours passed in a blur of frantic preparation. Commander Cole barely left the command center, catching sleep in restless bursts whenever possible. Earth's defense forces scrambled to reinforce their positions, mobilizing every available asset. The salvaged alien technology from the first invasion was being rapidly integrated into their own systems, but time was running out. Colonel Holt's voice crackled through his comm unit. "Nathan, we've managed to decipher more of their communication protocols from the wreckage. It looks like they're broadcasting battle plans to each other in real time. If we can tap into that and work, we might anticipate their strategy." Cole nodded. "Do it. Prioritize that encryption and feed whatever you find directly to tactical." He glanced at the holographic display where the new fleet, massive and far more formidable than the first, was steadily approaching the outer edge of the solar system. The energy signatures alone dwarfed their previous attackers. The Zarnoth Empire was no longer underestimating them. A transmission alert blinked on his screen, and Cole opened it. An unexpected face appeared, the old commander who had warned them before. His expression was grim, his scales duller than before. "You're still alive," Cole said, raising an eyebrow. The old alien gave a bitter chuckle. "Barely, but I needed to see it for myself. The Zarnoth sent their Warbringer fleet this time. Your victory stirred the Hornets' nest." Cole's face hardened. "We didn't pick this fight. They came to us." "I know," the alien replied, his tone wary. "But the Warbringer fleet is different. Their sole purpose is annihilation. No conquest, no occupation. They mean to wipe you out as a lesson to others." Cole's jaw tightened. "Then we'll make it the most painful lesson they've ever learned." The old commander hesitated, something almost like respect flickering in his eyes. "You humans, you don't know when to quit. That's your curse and your strength. Listen to me carefully. They'll target your planet directly this time. They've learned from their mistake of scattering their forces. You need to make them think they're winning. Lure them in close before springing your trap." Cole nodded, understanding the strategy. "If they cluster up to bombard Earth, we can concentrate fire on their flagship and disrupt their formation." "Yes," the old commander agreed, "and use their own technology against them. I sent you the codes from my own databanks. They should help. You bypass some of their defense systems. It's the only way you'll have Acants." Cole hesitated. "Why are you helping us? You could just watch us burn." The old alien's gaze fell. "I watched my own people burn for our arrogance. We thought we were unstoppable, just like the Zarnoth do now. You made them bleed, and that's something no one else has managed. Maybe, just maybe, you're the ones who can finally break their hold on the galaxy." The transmission cut off abruptly, and Cole processed the data the alien had sent. It contained encryption keys and fleet formation protocols, enough to at least create a few openings. He wasted no time patching it through to Colonel Holt. "Got it," Holt replied, her fingers flying over her console. "I'll have our countermeasures ready within the hour." "You thinking about baiting them into the gravity?" "Well, exactly," Cole confirmed. "If they think they've got us trapped between their fleet and Earth's surface, they'll tighten their formation to maximum bombardment. That's when we hit them with everything we've got." Hall grinned. "I like it. We'll set up automated decoy ships and false energy signatures to make them think our main forces are on the ground. When they move into fire, we'll spring the trap." As the final preparations unfolded, Cole took a moment to stand at the observation deck, staring up at the vast, dark sky. The stars shimmered, oblivious to the chaos brewing in their midst. He couldn't help but think about the people on Earth. Children playing in parks, familia scared around dinner tables, unaware of the impending threat. He couldn't let them down. Not now, not after coming so far. When the Warbringer fleet finally reached the edge of Earth's orbit, they halted, spreading out into a dense, intimidating formation. Cole watched as they began to power up their main cannons, the monstrous weapons glowing with energy that could reduce Enterecities to ash. "Sir," Hall reported, "they're scanning our surface installations. Thedecois are working. They're locking on to the false signatures." "Hold," Cole commanded, his eyes fixed on the screen. "Let them commit. Wait for them to concentrate their fire." Seconds stretched into agonizing minutes. The Warbringer fleet continued to align, focusing on the largest decoy cluster near what appeared to be a major defense hub. Finally, the lead ship's cannons glowed white-hot, and the entire fleet synchronized, ready to unleash a planet-killing salvo. "Now!" Cole shouted. Earth's orbital defense platforms roared to life, launching a coordinated barrage of energy lances and railgun slugs directly at the flagship. Simultaneously, the cloaked drone swarm surged forward, attaching to the vulnerable underbellies of the cruisers. The flagship's shields flickered and failed as the unexpected onslaught overwhelmed its power core. One well-placed railgun slug ripped through the command bridge, and the colossal ship shuddered before erupting in a massive fireball. As the flagship disintegrated, the remaining ships faltered, breaking formation in confusion. The drone swarms exploited gaps, tearing into engines and power conduits. Several more cruisers detonated as their reactors overloaded. The Warbringer fleet, designed to conquer worlds, was now caught in a death spiral of chaos and destruction. Those that tried to retreat were intercepted by fighter squadrons and orbital turrets, mercilessly cut down as they scrambled to escape. Cole leaned back, exhaustion creeping into his bones. "Status report." Holt's voice was triumphant. "Enemy fleet is in full retreat. We're mopping up stragglers. Casualties on our side are minimal." A collective cheer rose from the command center, and Cole allowed himself a faint smile. "We did it," he whispered. As he watched the remnants of the once mighty fleet burn in the void, he knew that Earth had proven itself once again. They were no longer just survivors. They were defenders, and their message had been sent loud and clear. Humanity wasn't prey. They were the hunters now. The aftermath of the battle left the skies above Earth littered with debris, drifting fragments of alien ships and scorched metal, raining down like silent meteors. Automated cleanup drones scoured the atmosphere, neutralizing falling wreckage before it could reach the surface. Commander Nathan Cole stood in the war room, the hum of holographic displays filling the space. Reports streamed in from every corner of the planet. Confirmations of victory mixed with sobering tallies of the damage. Civilian casualties were low, but some of the orbital defense platforms gathered leaders. Earth might have fought them off twice, but we're not arrogant enough to think we can hold against the entire Zarnath Navy. If we're going to survive, we need to hit them before they hit us, catch them off guard, and take out their command hub. A murmuring chorus of concern echoed through the room. One off-Cryon strategist raised a spindly hand. Directly attacking their hub would be suicide. It said, "The defenses are monumental. No single fleet has ever breached their core territory." Cole's gaze hardened. "Then we don't fight their whole fleet. We create chaos, make them think their empire is crumbling, spread disinformation, sabotage their communication networks, and hit secondary targets to divide their forces. Once they're scattered and vulnerable, we strike the hub." Thalen looked thoughtful. "You want to incite panic and confusion, a tactic the Zarnath never use because they rely on overwhelming power and intimidation." Marissa smirked. "It's what humans do best, turning an enemy's own arrogance against them." After a long tense pause, the Bra chieftain let out a harsh law. You are bold, human. I like it. My warriors are tired of living as slaves and outcasts. Let us make them fear our claws once more. One by one, the other leaders nodded, some more hesitantly than others. But it was clear that Cole's plan had sparked something within them, a willingness to fight back rather than wait to be crushed. As the meeting ended, Marissa pulled Cole aside. You sure about this? We're basically throwing a grenade into the heart of the Empire and hoping it explodes the way we want. He gave her a wry smile. It's risky, but we've already proven that conventional warfare doesn't work against them. We need to hit them where they're weak, right at the heart of their pride. Before Marissa could respond, an aide rushed over, eyes wide. Commander, you need to see this. An encrypted transmission just came through from the Zarnath Central Command. Cole's brow furrowed. Patch it through to my terminal. He hurried to his private office. Marissa closed behind and activated the console. The hologram flickered to life, revealing a tall, imposing figure in ornate armor, the supreme warlord of the Zarnath Empire himself. His crimson eyes blazed with contempt. So the warlord sneered. The insects of Earth think themselves worthy of resistance. Your insolence will be met with utter destruction. Your world will burn, and your people will beg for mercy that will never come. Cole stood unflinching. Big words from someone whose fleets have already fallen twice. Maybe it's not us who should be begging. The warlord's face twisted in fury. You believe yourself a warrior? You are a nuisance. A stain to be wiped from the stars. Your victory was a fluke. When my armada arrives, I will see your cities turned to ash and your people scattered as slaves. Cole met his gaze without flinching. Come and try. We'll be waiting. The transmission cut off abruptly, and Marissa let out a low whistle. Did you just challenge the most powerful warlord in the galaxy to a duel? He smirked. If he's as prideful as he think, he'll make this personal. He'll come straight at us without thinking, focused on proving a point rather than forming a coherent strategy. We just need to prepare the trap. Marissa couldn't help but grin. You're one crazy bastard, Nathan. But if anyone can pull this off, it's you. Est war room buzzed with renewed activity. Cole formulated the next steps, knowing that the fate of humanity, perhaps the entire galaxy, rested on one final battle. The Zarnath were coming with everything they had, but Earth wouldn't be cowering in fear. Number Earth would be standing at the gates, ready to give the invaders a welcome they'd never forget. Preparations moved forward at a breakneck pace. Earth's defense forces were reinforced with alien allies from newly formed Allied resistance. Ships of various shapes and sizes clustered in orbit. Cryon war frigates with their shimmering energy shields. Brax assault cruisers bristling with plasma turrets, and a few retrofitted human battleships armed with salvaged Zarnath technology. Commander Cole barely slept, coordinating the integration of desperate forces into a cohesive defense strategy. Colonel Hull was knee-deep in cyber warfare planning, setting up elaborate decoys and hacking countermeasures. Despite the gravity of the situation, morale was surprisingly high. The galaxy's oppressed had finally found something worth fighting for, and they were determined to make the Zarnath pay. Cole stood on the command deck, monitoring incoming intelligence. The Zarnath Armada was less than a day away, and the Warbringer fleet had regrouped with reinforcements from the Empire's core worlds. It was the largest concentration of military force ever assembled. A planet-killer fleet built to annihilate entire civilizations. His thoughts were interrupted by Marissa, who strode onto the bridge. Looking grim but confident. Got some good news for a change, she said, holding up a datapad. We managed to break through the last encryption protocols from that old commander's data. Turns out the Zarnath use centralized command AI to coordinate their fleet movements. If we can disrupt it, their whole formation will break apart. Cole raised an eyebrow. You're telling me their vaunted armada relies on one brain to keep it organized? She smirked. Yeah, overconfident bastards never thought Myon would get close enough to exploit it. If we can upload a virus to their flagship, we'll cut the head off Snake. Cole considered the plan. How do we get it there? They'll have the flagship protected like a fortress. Marissa's eyes gleamed. We use one of the captured escape pods from the last battle. Retrofit it with a signal scrambler and a stealth package. Once it latches onto the flagship, it can upload the virus directly into their mainframe. Cole couldn't help but grin. That just might work. Who's going to pilot it? Marissa hesitated. It has to be someone good with tech in case anything goes wrong. Someone who knows how to adapt on the fly. He looked at her, realizing what she was suggesting. Marissa, no. You're too valuable here, she scoffed. Nathan, I'm the only one who understands the virus protocols well enough to make it work. I designed half the damn thing. Plus, I'm the best damn pilot you've got. Before Cole could argue further, the comms officer interrupted. Sir, incoming transmission from the BRAC command ship. The hologram flickered, revealing Thbrao Chieftain, his fur bristling with excitement. We have completed the modifications to your decoy drones, Commander. They will emit false energy signatures to mimic capital ships. The Zarnath will think they are engaging your primary fleet. Cole gave a nod of approval. Weldon, begin deploying them at the outer perimeter. We'll make it look like our forces are concentrated on the far city of the planet. Once they commit to the assault, we'll hit them from behind. The Brax grinned, showing his sharp teeth. A cunning tactic. My warriors area-ger to tear into their flesh. When the transmission ended, Marissa nudged Cole's arm. You're really going through with this crazy ambush idea, huh? He smirked. It's what humans do best. Make the enemy think they're winning until they're already dead. As the final hours ticked by, the Allied fleet moved into position, scattering Jekoi drones and setting up orbital cannon emplacements. The flagship Eeks of Valor was positioned just behind the moon, using its gravity as a partial shield while maintaining optimal firing angles. Marissa prepped the escape pod herself, integrating the virus package and double-checking the stealth system. Cole found her in the hangar bay running diagnostics one last time. He hesitated, unsure of what to say, but finally stepped forward. You don't have to do this, he said quietly. She gave him a soft smile. Yeah, I do, we both know it. You can fight them ship to ship, but crippling their command system is the only way we win this. Besides, you need to be here to keep everyone from falling apart. He swallowed the knot in his throat, placing a hand on her shoulder. Just make it back. You're too stubborn to die out there, she snorted. If I die, it's because I'm bored to death by their shitty alien software. Don't worry, I'll make sure this virus hits them where it hurts. With a final nod, Marissa climbed into the pod, sealing the hatch. The launch bay doors hissed open, and the tiny vessel shot out into space, its stealth systems engaging instantly. Cole watched the trajectory on the main display, nerves coiled tight. The Zarnath fleet was less than an hour away now, and every sensor was tuned to detect their arrival. Suddenly, the proximity alert blurred. The massive enemy fleet had just dropped out of FTL, their ships forming an imposing wall of firepower that stretched as far as the sensors could see. The Warbringer fleet led the charge, and at its heart was the command flagship, an enormous dreadnought bristling with weaponry and surrounded by escort ships. Cole took a deep breath. All forces hold position. Let them advance. As the Zarnath closed in, they began firing at the decoy drones. Kanth Sethi were eliminating key targets. The ambush was working, but it wouldn't hold for long. Marissa's escape pod drifted into the chaos, slipping past the escorts and latching onto the dreadnought's hull. Pod secure, the comms officer reported. Virus upload in progress. Time stretched. Agonizing lies low. The Warbringer fleet continued to press forward, oblivious to the infection spreading through their network. Then abruptly, The flagship's movements became erratic. Cannons firing in random bursts, targeting their own escorts. One cruiser collided with another, and confusion rippled through the entire formation. Marissa's voice crackled over the comms. "Virus is in. Their command AI is glitching out. They're firing on each other." Cole seized the opportunity. "All units, engage. Hit them while they're disorganized."